Welcome to the Driving the World podcast series. I'm your host, Culley Holland. Today we are coming to you from the AGMA Motion and Power Expo, and we have Mary Ellen Doran with AGMA.
Hey Mary Ellen, how are you today?
Very well, thanks, Culley. How are you?
Doing wonderful. I'm so happy to be here. Thank you for the invite, and I'm very glad you had the time to sit down with me today. So why don't you just introduce yourself to the folks, kind of what you do in AGMA, and we'll go from there.
Absolutely. Thank you very much for this opportunity. Hi, everyone. My name's Mary Ellen Doran. I'm the Director of Emerging Technology for the American Gear Manufacturers Association. I've been with AGMA for 13 years, but this role that I'm in now took place about 6 years ago, the transfer. With our 100th anniversary, the Board of Directors really wanted to focus some of our attention forward. Our membership is made up of about 75% small to medium-sized manufacturers. We have several large manufacturers as well. Everybody is being inundated with emerging technology. What applies to gear? How does it apply to gear? And what do our members need as a collective to be able to move forward? So we came up with developing emerging technology for industry. We now have 4 very thriving working groups in this area, and they are people that want to learn about these technologies. We bring in experts to present to the committees. We have high-level discussions about how the technology impacts gear directly. So we have 3D printing. We look at a lot of metal, electric vehicle technology, industrial Internet of Things, which is now also AI, and robotics and automation.
Very cool. From those 4 topics, that's definitely the trend I've seen in the industry of where we're going. So I think it's amazing that AGMA hopped on that 6 years ago, was kind of ahead of the curve. So if you have 4 topics, why don't we kind of briefly introduce each one and kind of how we're working with them. So if I remember them all, we can start off with the Internet of Things, the IoT and AI, and how is that applying to the gear world?
Sure. So there are several different things within that space that is specific for gear. The first is CMMC 2.0, which is a big government-led effort to have certification when you're downstream from some of these really huge projects. So we're getting training for our members on the very basic levels for starting to understand and get to CMMC 2.0 certification. Cybersecurity is now the biggest problem within manufacturing. We have some experts that that provide presentations at our events. We have webinars about them all the time. Cybersecurity is a focus of ours. And then we have several new and up-and-coming IoT solution providers that specifically are geared for the small and medium-sized manufacturers. There are some great IoT providers on the big scale, and a lot of people are aware of them. What we're trying to do is to bring awareness to some of the smaller ones. So some of the people that use visioning and AI, some people that are able to have a simple solution for getting some of your data and analytics off of your machines. So IoT and AI kind of scope that broad branch right now. AI is a big deal and people are talking about it right now, but it's been embedded in a lot of the IoT stuff for a while. Digital twinning is AI. Predictive and preventative maintenance has used AI techniques in the past. So it's going to be interesting to see how the new generations of computing make those things happen faster and better for gear manufacturers.
Very cool, and definitely applicable to a lot of the AGMA members and folks out in the industry. So one of the other topics you mentioned was 3D printing, and especially metal 3D printing, which working at SEW-EURODRIVE, we dabble a little bit in both, so I'm very intrigued to hear how AGMA was on the cutting edge of that.
So AGMA, we've been really lucky. We've been taking a group of people on a curated tour of the Rapid show floor for the last 4 years. In 2024, I'm really excited to take a group to Anaheim. It's self-selected, join in, come with us to Anaheim. We're gonna go meet 17 different providers of 3D printing, tooling, machines, materials, and we'll have discussions with them that are directly applicable to gear. From what we've gathered, we've not seen a mass production of gears in 3D. And I don't know that we're going to see that anytime soon, but we will see some serial production, and it probably will be used in some cases for lightweighting in certain applications. The thing that's holding back gear is materials.
Okay.
So you don't take a gear steel, atomize it, throw it in a printer, and expect to get the same mechanical properties of a cut gear. That's just not how the process works.
Okay.
So a lot of people are working on some new powders that may benefit the gear industry. It's also really hard to change an old dog's habits.
Yes, it is.
So it's not cheap to print in 3D, and to try to change an entire industry from cutting gears to printing them when we've really got cut gears down pat is going to take some time, and what people need to focus on are the real benefits of 3D, the lightweighting, the quickness with which you can get. So in gear right now, we're seeing a lot of prototyping being done in Metal 3D because you can get it in a couple of days. Tooling that otherwise would take months can be printed in-house in some of our plant floors. And I'm interested in some of the forging concepts that are being floated up right now in this space. And I want to see how that plays out in the next 3 years.
It sounds like it's definitely going to be a fun topic to follow with a lot of growth and a lot of development happening. One of your other topics was robotics. So where are we going with gearing and robotics?
So robots are not new, but most robots have 96% of robots have only been in automotive and on the automotive lines. We're now seeing robots being brought into all sectors in manufacturing, and they're much cheaper than they were even 5 years ago. So we have factories that are able to implement and utilize robots even in low mix, high volume, high mix, low volume situations. So the committee is looking at robots in two ways. We're looking at how our small and medium-sized manufacturers can implement robots on the floor. So we talk with big companies like Fanuc. We have Ready Robotics on our committee providing some input in what's happening in the industry. On the flip side, there are gears in robot arms.
Yes, there are.
And there are lots of, now we have those tried and true like Fanuc arms that are being made, but there are a lot of new opportunities for gear manufacturers in the robotics space. So where are those opportunities? What kind of vehicles are we seeing being made? And how can our guys get into the supply chains for these new vehicles? I'm very excited. I'm going to CES this year. I haven't been for a couple of years. So I'm really excited to see some of the robot applications that's coming to CES in January.
Very nice, and I think that's something that would easily be overlooked, is the crucialness of gearing in robots, because while you're thinking high tech, at the end of the day, you do have to have gears in the arms so that they can move and function properly. And I know we've touched on 3 out of 4 topics, and you're gonna have to forgive me, I am blanking on the 4th one.
Electric vehicle technology.
Electric vehicles, how could I forget that? That is definitely a very hot buzz in the market right now. So how is AGMA working in the electric vehicle sector and kind of where it's going?
So this has been such an interesting trajectory for AGMA. 5 years ago when we started the Electric Vehicle Committee, we weren't sure how gear would play a role in electric vehicles, because your optimal electric vehicle doesn't have gears. It's electric motors in the 4 wheels, and so I wouldn't say optimal, but one way to do it, and we weren't sure which way industry would move. So it's been really interesting to see that gearboxes are not only a significant part of electric vehicle, but they're now they play a very important role given the NVH issues that have come to light. When you remove everything else that makes noise, you just have gears. And so gear noise has become a huge issue, something that the automotive industry has really been working on. And you also can get your propulsion from gears. So we're seeing gearboxes that are climbing really high into the 20,000 and 30,000 RPMs.
Wow.
Going into electric motors. So that brings a whole different group of issues and questions and things to discuss in our committee. This morning, we had our EV Town Hall here at Motion Power Technology Expo. We had a great turnout and some really good conversations about what's going to happen with gear standards in the EV space itself. There are some special needs in this area, and so we're hoping that we're able to transfer an emerging tech to our technical department and talk about it from a standards perspective.
Very cool, and it sounds like AGMA has definitely found a home in the EV field. While maybe 5 years ago we didn't know if there were going to be gears at all, there's definitely going to be a need and a presence of AGMA. So I think those 4 fields are definitely the path forward and where a lot of things are moving. And it's very nice to see a 100-year-old plus association just staying right on the cutting edge and, you know, not just moving with the tide, but pushing it forward and really helping develop it. Is there anything else that you really want to touch on with the emerging technologies, or have we got a pretty good base?
Well, what I'd love to do is all of your coworkers are eligible and welcome to join any of my committees. So if any of these committees are of interest to any of you out there, please get in touch with Culley, send me an email. I'd love to have you on my committee. It's a good group of both people that want to learn and don't know a lot about it, coming together with experts in the industry, because it's the people that are asking the questions that are helping propel some of this, of how gear itself moves some of these forward. So we'd love your input, we'd love your participation.
And that is through agma.org?
It is.
And then of course you can reach out to myself. Who knows, maybe I'll be reaching out to agma.org. It definitely sounds fascinating and it's a lot of fun. So thank you so much for sitting down and taking the time. It's very cool to see where we're going as well as where we've been. So I look forward to some more emerging technologies in the future.
Thanks. I have one last thing, if that's okay.
Yeah, please.
We do a monthly webinar series. So every Wednesday at 1 o'clock Eastern time, at the first Wednesday of every month at 1 o'clock Eastern, we'll have a new topic that comes out of these 4 committees. We then take that tape version of the Zoom event and post it to our website. So we have all of 2022's webinars and all of 2023's current webinars available on our website right now for your consumption. So you can just go to our website, hit a button and hit play and you're off. There's no cost, there's no window, you don't have to give me your contact information and we're good.
So if you're a little curious and you want to figure out what questions to ask or get some answers to some questions you already have, it sounds like AGMA already has you covered.
Hopefully. Yeah.
If not, we'll ask those questions and we'll start getting some answers.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much, Culley, for today.
It's been a lot of fun. Thank you.